up, I have to say this, that you are wrong. Those people who were surrounding the Hindu temple and intimidating the worshippers are clearly BJP and RSS goons. They cannot be Muslims. Because as we have been told, Muslims always form a human chain to protect temples, don't they? We have to realize, Rahul, that hatred for Hindus, Hinduism and Hindutva is now a global phenomena. Just like hatred for Jews, Judaism and Zionism. But while the Hindus may be Jews, unfortunately, India is not Israel. We are weak. You need to understand why this is happening. The Islamists and their leftists and Darbari lapdogs try and get at Hinduism using the pretext of one, playing victim, both nationally and internationally. And you've just seen an example of that. And two, targeting Hindutva and claiming it is distinct from Hinduism. Watch those clips. Dozens of clips, and note how many dozens of times the Islamists mentioned the word Hindutva on one. Remember the international support during the anti-CA protests for the hate-filled bigots blocking streets illegally for no rhyme or reason except to display a show of strength. तेरा मेरा रिश्ता क्या, ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, हिंदुओं से आजादी, काफिरों से आजादी, हम लेके रहेंगे जिन्ना वाली आजादी, हिंदुत्व की कबर खुदेगी, शहादा रिप्लेसिंग द अशोक चक्रा, चिल्ड्रन वांटिंग टू किल मोदी एंड शाह. Remember all that? Domestic Hindu messiah forms the core, Rahul, that is then transmitted internationally quickly into global conferences about Hindutva ideology, dismantling it. And as for two, this is psychopathy topped up with profound ignorance, nothing else. Hindutva, I quote, verbatim, means the Indian culture and not merely the Hindu religion, unquote. This is the famous conclusion of the Supreme Court, not mine or Mohan Bhagwat. But here's the thing, even if you do not believe the Supreme Court, that Hindutva is the twa, the essence of Hinduism, and means the Indian culture, and prescribe to it a political or social motive, even then, Hindutva is not supremacist, but rather a defensive force to counter any attack on Hinduism. Tell me, is it Hindutva that calls non-believers the worst of creatures 98.6? That forbids marrying them 221? Is it Hindutva that recommends conditional wife beating 434? Is it Hindutva that says no one has the right to be worshipped except Shiva 4062? That says those who deny the Vedas, their necks will be shackled 4070? Is it Hindutva that says, fight against those who do not adopt Hinduism, fight them until they give jizya 929? That says, do not take disbelievers as friends unless they convert and kill them if they refuse 489? Were they believers of Hindutva who blew up the Bamiyan Buddhas? Is Hindutva responsible for 31,221 major terror attacks since 2001? Just because you are embarrassed by the violence, misogyny and bigotry commanded by your holy book, you bring in a false equivalence to deride Hindutva. So here is an open challenge, Rahul, just 20 seconds. Open challenge for those who hate Hindutva. List just 5 principles, diktats or commandments that you hate in Hindutva that are not there already in Islam. Just 5. And if you can't, then will you declare that you will henceforth hate Islam as much as you deride Hindutva? Hai dam Danish Qureshi? Hai dam kisi ka?
Would you like to respond? Mr. Qureshi.
I think Mr. Ranganathan is talking about the verses which he has described with the number. Problem is that who is practicing what
List
you describe?
5.
No.
Mr. Qureshi, I gave you a challenge. Please,
Okay.
as a friend. As a friend, I gave you a challenge.
Okay.
List 5 things that are there in Hindutva that aren't already there in Islam.
Mr. Ranganathan, there are number of things I can describe.
बोलो
नहीं
ना,
छोड़ो उसको. But I don't want to go in that.
बोलो.
Number आप जब आप ये कहते हैं कि आप किसी एक ईश्वर के बिना तो आप कैसे जब आपके पास मल्टीपल सुनिए जब आपके पास मल्टीपल ऑलरेडी आपके रीजन में ऑप्शंस हैं तो आप कैसे एक ईश्वर में बिलीव करेंगे बताइए. Now I am challenging you. Can you explain me? How you can say that? You can't say that.
Interrupt you.
That's why I am
Danish साहब, please don't do this.
मैं इसीलिए कह रहा हूँ कि अब मैं आपको चैलेंज दे रहा हूँ. बताइए आप जब आप ये कहते हैं कि 3 करोड़ देवी देवता हैं तो बताइए आप कैसे एक ईश्वर की बात ही कर पाएंगे. बताइए तो मुझे समझा दीजिए. मैं लेमैन हूँ बिल्कुल, मुझे कुछ नहीं पता, मुझे बताइए आप.